Good afternoon, everyone. The extinction of cash as coral reefs build to the highest level since 1985. Speaking of islands, new islands being created, the Spratly Islands, all at the same time. An entirely new system is starting to rule our world. And I wanted to start you right here, The Guardian, telling us Great Barrier Reef damage irreversible unless radical action taken. Good vibes of beautiful blue water, I guess. Action taken because the Great Barrier Reef hard coral cover 1986 to 2024 screaming north. The highest it's been since 1985. And even then it was 30% covered, and now it's 37% covered. That is a massive jump. That comes from AIMS Reef Reporting dashboard, that from the government of Australia monitoring sector. Good things down under. But Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, because I want to stay on the oceans here. This is a wow, mind bender article, set of articles actually here. So this is Vietnam building out an island. Land creating. Hanoi in high gear, 692 acres of new land on 10 islands compared to only 404 acres in 2023 and 342 acres in 2022. That's nearly double. So if we look at the total of that, that is 2,360 acres, and China with all its capacity is only at 4,650 acres. So this is a race to dominate and create islands out of just little spits of land here. The 10 largest feature Spratly Islands. Mischief Reef, number 1, China. And if we come down, we start to see Vietnam right around the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 10th positions, along with Taiwan and the Philippines in there. Barque, Canada Reef is the one image shown there. So I wanted to take you through a journey. Now what they do is they blast through the reef and they put up concrete, seawalls around there, and then they start to dredge out, and all that extra sand gets thrown off to the side, and that's what that new land created is. So the original island that you're looking at is down there on the right. That actual green is the original island. Everything else built on top of that on the reef is, well, artificial. But if the water and sea levels were lower, that would be above ground anyway. And you can see everywhere except the green is all brand new land with seawalls. And if we come and take a look at the wow, again, 2021, bottom right, and then we see it starting to evolve 22, and here's where we are at 2024. The island itself was just originally the green oval. Everything else has subsequently been filled in. Now there's 2 harbors there. And why is this even of importance, do you think? Well, China is running its own undersea cable network right now, outside control of the U.S., and this is what the BRICS are going to share for all of their payment systems, communications, and even internet requirements. And the U.S. says, you can't do that, defying U.S. sanctions. You can't put your own cable system down. We're the only ones, and then we can control it and say you can't use it. You're not allowed to put your own cable system down. How dare you? It looks like Wuhan Fiber Home International Tech, because they're the major winners here. This is the first layout of cable. What you're seeing here, it connects all the BRICS nations over there to the Middle East, and runs through India, down through Southern Asia and back up, and then it'll run off to where it says to the U.S. That's actually over to some more of the Russian islands. So there you see it, an entirely different system being built outside and around the U.S. President Trump warned the U.S. dollar is crashing and will no longer be the world standard. BRICS, attracting more and more countries and moving away from the U.S. dollar. A global de-dollarization trend accelerates. Gold is security in times of uncertainty. Call the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. And Patriot Gold Group has an OP for Life IRA, where your IRA or 401k could be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. And also, we're talking about oil, energy, etc. Somebody said, Dave, put up some interesting maps. Okay, here's one for you. oil fields and concession areas in the Middle East. This comes from the 1930s. Now, I didn't know that Yemen had so many oil fields down at the bottom there, Gulf of Aden, and they have the port of Yemen, which is sitting right on the edge there, and everybody wants that port. And wow, it looks like there's oil fields there too, outside of Iran, and you notice they put it as Persia, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Why do I think that map's important? Well, it really shows you that there is some very, very valuable real estate right there, heading into the Red Sea with all the oil fields and the ports. Everybody wants that. On the left, they're getting all these new dams set up for electrical production, for the new grow zones being set up, and the reintroduction and absolute incredible tidal waves of money flowing into Africa to develop it that has been left offline on purpose for the last 150 years or more. The world is shifting beneath our feet. I move into new payment systems, new internet, entirely new countries shifting off, and this is creating a big problem for the West. So as we come through, then really, what is it all about? The money, because the money's the power. It's not about the U.S. is going to lose the money, their ability to print money. They're going to lose the ability to print money and then bribe officials, hold on to power, pay for militaries, and make sure that's preferential treatment for corporations. Those days are done in the West. So obviously it's a tooth and nail fight to the end for the power. Maybe there is a ring somewhere that everybody's chasing. Oh, that's a money printing press. My bad. But off to Enbridge here. Saudi Arabia joins. I thought, what is Enbridge? Oh, wait, Bank for International Settlements, cross-border central bank digital currency project. That's a mouthful. Okay, we'll just call it Enbridge. Make it easy. And moving over, and then Saudi Arabia joins China and United Arab Emirates in this digital currency product. And I scratched my head and said, that is interesting. And the very last sentence there, and it would begin to work with India. Okay, so we're looking at BRICS Light here. Is it not China and India and Saudi Arabia, UAE? Because these, oil-producing nations. Now, Saudi Arabia said they're going to take any payment outside of the dollar now. They're going to take anything. They'll take gold, they'll take resources, they'll take euros, they'll take yuan, they'll take anything. Not exclusively dollars like they used to, and that's what used to keep our dollar strong. Artificial usage. So the cross-border Enbridge, Bank for International Settlements, and we got China, Hong Kong, Thailand, UAE, and now Saudi Arabia as this block of 5. And you look at that, okay, Chinese yuan, Hong Kong, and they give you this simplistic chart here off of Forbes, like, yeah, these 4 currencies are involved with it. But if you go to the Bank for International Settlements PDF itself, this is really what those little circles represent. All those banks involved. Bank of China, HSBC, Standard Chartered, Bangkok Bank, and everything in between. Now we're adding in also the Saudi Arabian central banks. This is very large. They're all going to trade amongst themselves. Outside the U.S., all of it. Even just these 5 alone trading using swaps within themselves would definitely dent our ability to be strong on the dollar. And we'll move to the Saudi Central Bank. 70% of the world's oil, and they'll take anything for that now. Load up a ship of iron ore, they'll take it. They'll swap you out some oil, but we need smart contracts to do that, and payment systems also running on those same rails outside the U.S. And he said, well, big whoop, man, that's only 5 countries. But not really. The BRICS share of global GDP hits 35.7%. At the same time, the economic indicators inside the G7, including America and Canada and all your favorite Englands, etc., 29%. They've actually passed us already. Nobody's talking about this. Very few people are talking it. They've already passed. Our GDP surpassed it totally. That we're looking in the rearview mirror. This is absolutely a change. So as you see things shift more that you thought were nigh impossible, well, here we are, because this is truly what's happening, and the world is shifting beneath our feet. Hence the extinction of cash. And they play it out for you as we march into, they give the timeline here, 2027. So at least we have that long into the future where cash will not go to 0, but very close to. Like for Norway example, it's only going to be 11%. United States, only 7% of all transactions will be cash in the future. But then you look at the declines in the thing. Like look at minus 61% for India. They're, it's still going to be above 10% or right around 10%, but they declined 61% in the transactions for cash. And also Nigeria, 49% decline, but they're still going to be over 40% usage, but still, that is massive. That's why there's so many problems there right now, because people aren't accepting the new system, and they're like, what happened to the cash? It was good like 2 weeks ago, and now you're saying it's no longer good, and I gotta, what? Yeah. So the bait and switch on this one for 50 years or 70 years of us on the old system to move to the new system, that's going to be more than a push. I'm trying to frame it like this. So I put this chart out a little while ago, and on the right side, you'll see December of 2024. We should be around 1.6 trillion for the interest payments here on our treasury debt for the rest of the world. And then the newest chart that came out from Incrementum, we're looking at 1.7 trillion coming up in what, January? So that's going at about 100 billion a month. So keep in mind, if we go through 12 months, you're going to have to add 1.2 to that 1.7, and that puts us over 3 trillion. That's impossible to pay back. It really is. And then the awareness is going to start to rise out of that. And people are going to be like, you're trying to maintain 3 trillion in interest, and you're trying to still tax and tariff, and that's not even going to cover it. No, who's going to want to buy this? And then looking at the U.S. debt clock today, we're almost at 35 trillion, and that just keeps spinning up north of, that's going to be 4 more trillion a year on this, and it gets a little absurd. And that's why I'm saying, a lot of these distractions, the more the shift is in motion, or the more that you're going to notice the shift, the more distractions they're going to throw at you and me, so we don't see that shift occurring. That you think that, well, no, it's them, it's those bad guys. But really, it is the ingrained power structure trying to hold on to power, doing anything they can at any cost to maintain power. And they'll drag us in and rule over the ashes to try to maintain that power. That's a mind frame you need to go in with, trying to protect yourself, look for the opportunities on this, but also real understanding that we are in the midst of one of the greatest changes in the last 2,000 years for the economy on the planet. So put that in perspective, and then, they're not going to just let it go. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's a given fact. But then how do you find ways to store value during those times? Everybody's going to be different. How are you going to ride through if credit's not available and our farmers get shut down or the supermarkets close? Again, that's going to be a personal choice of how you're going to prepare for things like that. So I do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Share with your friends and family so we can start the conversation and come up with more solutions. I do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Bye for now.